Yes, the boys and the bus is back. It's time for another little Tic Talking episode. Thought we would jump on tonight because it is Tuesday night, and as was tradition on the previous podcast, David Logue, you and I are on screen at the same time, the first time in a long time. All we're missing tonight is Regan. Where art thou, Regan? That's all we need to complete the trifecta. But David, I say it's been a long time since you and I have been on, months. But how you doing, mate? It's good to catch up with you tonight, man.
I know it's been ages, and I picked the worst night to say I'll come on because my throat voice absolutely gone. It's gone. So, but I said to you yesterday, Phil, I'll do the pod. I'm free. So, even sickness and health, Phil, I'm here for you, brother. I'm here.
So
No
we've got to
days off.
capitalise, we've got to pounce on you, man, whenever you're available. Because obviously, congratulations, in recent months you became a father. Young Dominic, how is the baby?
He's doing really well. Thank you very much for asking. He's doing good. My daughter's going to be 16 in a couple of months, so it's like I was like, I've hit a reset button and just decided just to start all over again. So it's like, what are you doing? But no, he's 8 weeks old, and he slept he's like sleeping 8 hours already. It's mental. I don't know what's happened there. Maybe
that's a blessing.
As long as it continues,
Aye, fingers crossed, mate. Aye, hopefully that keeps up. But as I said before you came on here, talking about your soul tonight, you've got all that to look forward to because kids, they pick up every sniffle and every cold going and they'll pass it on to you as well. So you've got all that still to come, mate. All the joys, all the fun still coming along. Yeah. But anyway, before we do that, before we turn this into a podcast about parenting, we'll do the good stuff. We'll tell about the good stuff. So if I remember to just help us out massively again. Relatively new channel that we've just set up, so looking to get the traction up, but looking to hit 500 subscribers before the start of the season. We're not too far away now, and last I checked we were at 450, so I think it's doable to get to 500 before the start of the season. But of course, if you do discover us tonight and you want to help us out on that mission, hit the subscribe button. Remember, hit the bell notification to be notified when we are on the road. Of course, a like always helps as well, and the old algorithm, the old traction on YouTube gets us recommended to more people out there who like Celtic-related content or more likely to pop up in their recommended videos. Of course, you can get involved in our comment section tonight, this fine Tuesday evening. Who is in tonight? Patman67 is in, Ian McIntosh is here, Jim Dolan is here, Patrick McLaughlin's here, Plunge McNugget is here, Liz Donnelly is here, Perth Celts is here, and of course, yes, there is also a game going on at the same time as well. So if you are watching that, stick us on as well, rather than listen to the commentary in that game. But I'm sure people in the chat will also keep us up to date on what's going on in that match because we are up against that tonight. And of course, you can share the link of this channel far and wide on whatever social media platform tickles your fancy. And with that said and done, David, as a great man once said, what do you want to talk about? So, I guess where do we want to start? To say we've not caught up in a while, so I think it'll be good tonight to just pick your brain and see where you're at initially with just how things have been going over the summer with Celtic and whatnot. Are you in the camp of, oh my God, everything's terrible and, everything's falling apart? Are you quite calm about it all? Where are you? Are you somewhere in the middle? What's your feelings, David?
I don't know because I knew you were going to ask me that because I haven't been on since the Bayern Munich game with Terry on the Bhoys channel. So yeah, we've got lots to catch up on. But because I want to rewind to the end of the season, and I feel bad and I almost feel guilty saying this, but kind of got a bit bored. I got a bit fed up, and I just wanted the season to be over. And obviously, we're just about to start our new season again, and I am getting excited for the new season. It's obviously Rangers have been busy in the transfer market, having to rebuild the team. So then I think it highlights, obviously, or almost exaggerates how maybe little business it feels like we are doing right now. But you don't want to get caught up in comparing what Celtic's doing in the window to what Rangers are doing in the window, because Rangers, they're having to do a complete reset. After obviously the season that they've had, and the new manager coming in, and he wants to rip it up and bring in players of that he knows or he's played with or played against, because that's who he's signing. He's signing boys that from League One and maybe guys that have had their heyday in the Championship and the Premier League that he's played against or played with. Some I'm raising an eyebrow at, and some I'm not so fussed for. But obviously that I think, and not to focus on them obviously, but I think that's what then is making our fans starting to get a bit edgy feet and going, right, where the deal's at. I was with my mate Darren today, met him for lunch. He's a big Rangers fan, and obviously he was asking me. He doesn't pay much attention to what we're doing, so I was like, how are you feeling about you've done much business? And I was like, yes and no was my answer.
Yeah.
Yes, we're doing business, but nothing that's maybe really got me excited yet. I am, now that he's in the door, Shin Yamada, I am a little, I have to say, he's perked my interest a little bit. He's a bit of an enigma in terms of, like, you don't want to compare him because of just being Japanese and, like, coming for the J League, or obviously being a striker. You instantly go, have we got another Kyogo? But I don't think, I think we can't help but do that. He's went down the same route in his career of Hatati, obviously coming from the same club, and obviously they've done the university pathway. So he's still, even though he's 25, he's relatively new as a professional football player. 20 goals last season, I believe.
It was 20 plus, I think he got,
Not so prolific this season, but I'm excited to see what he can do. And even just reading things like, this guy's clocked the fastest in the J League. All these things kind of get you excited. Of course, that doesn't equate to you being a very good football player. We don't know that. But I mean, how fast is this guy? You know,
he's got to be lightning fast, be quicker than Maeda.
If he's quicker than Maeda, yeah. So that gets me excited to be like, okay, we've got a guy that we know scored 20 goals in the J League last season or 2 seasons ago. He's lightning quick. This could be quite exciting. But obviously, then we look at the things like this. Osmond, for example. I don't know how I feel about that. When I first read it, I thought, oh, okay. 19-year-old, Fulham Academy player. We've had good track record there. But he's not played a professional game of football for Fulham whatsoever. He's played in the Premier League 2 or B or whatever you call it, which I'm sure, Phil, it's a fairly good standard of players playing in that division. But I question, is he really going to be any better than Cummings that we just let go, that West Ham are interested in signing and taking off our hands? A player that we gave a run out in the Champions League only last season. Now, was that just a Ben Doak all over again? It's like, look, we'll play you, and then we've missed the boat, and then we'll find out that he actually ends up having a pretty good career there. Like, Cummings was a player that I think a lot of fans were quite excited to see coming through the B team and etc. etc. Like, you're not chucking a boy on the Champions League game against Villa, just for the sake of it, or he has to have earned to have been on. I know obviously the Scottish contingency would have helped him, but we're still. Are you really telling me that this Osman boy is far superior than Cummings? Time will tell, but it's so that situation there. I'm a bit like, how? I mean, and this is obviously going to lead us into what our main topic tonight is. So where does he fit in when we've brought in Shin Yamada? We've got Adam Ida that we spent 9 million on last season, and then we're giving Johnny Kenny all these runouts now. Why are we giving Johnny Kenny all these runouts if he's apparently going to be moving on? Is it just to get him in the shop window? Because quite frankly, I think Johnny Kenny can sell himself to the level of club that will be interested in him, regardless if he's playing in these pre-season friendlies or not. I'd rather, if he isn't part of the plans, Phil, which I'm not so sure is the case now, but if he isn't part of the plans, Phil, why aren't we trying to get Adam Ida up to scratch to get him through this pre-season that he so desperately apparently needed last season? Because right now, he's not getting much game time because he was on international duty. Like, was he really on that much Was he really needing that much of a rest? I'd rather him get in the pre-season friendlies if he is going to be our so-called number one striker. But jury's out on that now.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here. I'm sure we can go through all the players. But just to wrap it up neatly just now, I'm intrigued with some of the signings, but I wouldn't say I'm excited yet about the season. But plenty of time in the window yet. So
I think it's safe to say the most exciting player, ironically, is somebody who was here before, and it was Kieran Tierney, because we all know what we're getting with him, and that's it. So I get what you mean about, I'm intrigued to see if some of them do. Negrin's obviously getting a lot of hype from his performances, but yeah, you did allude to it there, and it was a guy I thought, let's have a chat about him, because nobody really thought this guy had much of a chance from January onwards when he came back to us from his loan spell. I remember, I think it was up at Ross County, Johnny Kenny made his first appearance. He came off the bench. I can remember his first sort of impact in the game. He had a wee sort of mazy run. He looked quite tricky, a bit of pace on him. And I thought, well, maybe there's going to be something there. And then he just vanished from the team for months on end. And then I think at the sort of tail end of the season there, last few games, he was got a run out at Ibrox. He played up at Pataudry, scored his first goal for the club. And then, of course, we ended the quite shambolic cup final performance with him through the middle. But in pre-season, he's been genuinely one of the sort of players that sort of took his chance, took his minutes, essentially, getting that opportunity. And he's managed to grab the brass ring, essentially. He's definitely got my attention. You look at obviously the first game against Queen's Park, it is what it is. He scored the only goal, though. Against Cork City, I thought his movement was really good. I think at times when Inamura was going up that left-hand side, and he was another player that we've touched on, has stood out as well. Johnny Kenny was making a lot of good runs into the channel and whatnot. Then you see the Sporting Lisbon performance. He comes off the bench at half-time, makes himself a bit of a nuisance in the box, wins the penalty. And then the second goal, obviously breaking from the corner. And again, just because we Adam Eder's built, you're not going to see him do that. But Johnny Kenny's got a lower centre of gravity, bit of skill about him. That mazy run sets up Luke McCown for the goal. And then he goes and scores at the weekend as well against Newcastle, the most route one goal ever. Nick Pope just completely missed it, but Johnny Kenny was alert to it. And it's generally got me thinking, is Brendan Rodgers now don't get wrong, to caveat this, we should be looking for better. And I'm not saying for a second Johnny Kenny's now the number one striker and he should be playing every single game. But the point I'm trying to make is now from absolutely nowhere, is Johnny Kenny kind of shown us, David, that he's got some use here, because the vibe I got from the stories at the start of the summer was we rejected a cash bid from Bolton to keep him. There's talk of him signing a contract extension. So I'm like, I think Celtic want to loan him out at the very worst. But now is Brendan looking at him going, actually, I might keep you around at least until the January window and we might get some use out of him, because I say he's definitely done himself no harm, David.
I don't think he's done himself any harm, Phil. I'm way there. I'm like, is that really what we're aiming for? I mean, and maybe that's. I mean, I can see even in the chat right now, Plunge McNulty, Johnny, give me a break.
As I said, I'm not saying he should be the number one striker. I'm just saying, could he be of any use to us? Has he
done
himself?
I think he'd be perfectly capable as a squad player. I don't know if I would be over the moon that he'd be our starting striker. But then again, it's funny because it's not a sexy name. He's not coming from an exotic land. I think all these things kind of, and it's it shouldn't, but it does come into a lot of people's mindsets when it's like your number one striker. It's a bit boring, isn't it? I think that's what people, and I know it shouldn't be that way, and I don't think that's obviously the main reason, but it certainly is. It does play a part. I mean, we've got the boy for Shamrock, had a good spell at Shamrock Rovers, but I mean, you look at his stats at Shamrock Rovers. He played 29 matches for them last season in the Premier League, in the Ireland Premier Division. And he got 13 goals and 2 assists. And then obviously he played 3 goals in the Champions League qualifiers, and he got 2 goals in that. And obviously he had the Conference League run, and I think he actually played pretty well in that. I mean, and it's not the best standard of football, obviously, but I think it's safe to say it's better standard of football that he'll come up against in our league week in, week out. And he did well there. He's got a lot of attributes he's tall, he's quick, puts himself about, he makes himself a nuisance, and he's taking his. It was an absolute blunder for Nick Pope, who's obviously rusty in pre-season, but
Yeah.
you still got to make the run, take the chance, and sort of home. He missed an absolute howler seconds before that, by the way. Like, it was essentially an empty net, and he put it wide. So,
Swings and roundabouts. Yep.
Yeah. I think he would certainly be a good. I think he would be. I'll put it this way: he'll be a better squad player and more an effective squad player than maybe O or any of these other second choice strikers that we've had as of late, or third choice strikers we've had. I would rather, if he's putting himself about and getting results out of it, then I would rather we maybe kept him as a backup striker. But I certainly wouldn't want him to be our number one striker. But then again,
definitely not.
If he starts banging in the goals, Phil, then why not? If he's doing what's asked of him, then it'd be silly not to. But I do like, obviously, I think we're all in agreement that we want to aim higher. But what does that mean, Phil?
Of course.
What does that mean? Does that mean spending £9 million on his international teammate that's not at the minute producing the goods? 17 goals last season.
Well, as you say, you would think that Adam Idah would be getting more minutes right now during pre-season, because look at last year, we talked about Nicholas Kuhn, the magic of getting a full pre-season under his belt, and Adam Idah came in very late in the transfer window, August 14th to be exact, as Regan will remind us. Yes, we all remember it when he predicted that one in June of last year. And yeah, he obviously, he was trying to force a move out of Norwich, didn't really get much pre-season minutes there. So we thought, okay, if he gets a full pre-season, then we'll see a different Adam Idah, but he isn't getting many minutes on the park at times. He's maybe only getting a half and getting subbed off and whatnot, and coming on as he did at the weekend. He was on the bench and he came on for Johnny Kenny. And yeah, I think right now, because he is the main striker, I want Adam Idah to do well. I want him to be that guy that's getting 30 goals a season. The boy himself even said he wants to score 30. Brilliant, go and do it. But yeah, he just needs to find that sharpness. And again, it comes back to something I've said a load of times, David, about his style of play. If you watch him during a game, see if he would just stay between the penalty spot and the 6-yard line, like a number 9 would usually do, like an out-and-out striker would do. But I mean, it's probably the way he's been told to play by the manager. I'm going to take a guess as the Brendan Rodgers thing, because Brendan wanted Kyogo to drop deep at times rather than play on the shoulder of the defenders. But you do watch him, either he will drop out the area, he'll run into the channels. The amount of times we zip a ball across the face of the goal, across the box, and nobody's there. And it's like, man, see if you would just stay there. Like, he scored a goal against Aston Villa last season where he was in that position, right place, right time. A goal against St Johnstone in the Cup semi-final, I can remember him. Again, a ball zipped across the box, and there he was between the penalty spot and the 6-yard line. Get on the end of it, put it in the net. And I'm like, we do that move so much, and it's like, see if you would just stay in that area. But again, I think it's down to the way the manager wants it to play, because look at how he's doing with Kyogo as well. It's like Adam Idah doesn't have the characteristics of a player that should be running about and trying to get the play. He is a big target man, play to the strengths, play that way. So at times it feels like we don't. So yeah, they need to figure that out pretty quickly, because right now on the price that we paid for him, he needs to be the number 1 striker. If we don't sign anybody else, which to be fair would be quite criminal at this stage, we do need to get another option in. Then yeah, he's right now, he's definitely going to start the season as through the middle. There's no doubt about that. I'm pretty certain there'll be I can't see any big name striker coming in between now and the St Mirren game. So I think it's pretty safe to say, David, that Adam Idah will start against St Mirren a week on Sunday. And yeah, I mean, he's a confidence player. If he hits the ground running, bags a couple of goals in that game, gets off to a flyer, then happy days. But we saw last season, he has these little runs where he'll score like 4 or 5 games in a bounce and then go like 5 or 6 games without. And it's in the games where he's going without where the concern is, because he's not getting many assists. He's not really linking up the play very well. the substitution board goes up about the 60 minutes, and usually Adam Ida's one of the first ones getting taken off. And it's like, it's in the games where he's not getting a goal. That's where I want to see a bit more from him. Where he does set other people up. But I think if you look at his assists for last season, it's probably not very high, is it?
No, I'm reading the comments here with Brown Warrior and Per Celts, and I mean they make a brilliant argument. Like Kyogo averaged 25 goals at Celtic, and he does currently averaging 20. Brown Warrior said, and Per Celts is saying even a bad season, and he does score 20 goals. I mean, you can't argue with the numbers. Like I think. I don't know if Brendan's always been very, has a good reputation of being a good man manager, and I don't know if maybe he's quite found the right way to manage Ida. Like maybe if there's the conversation with Ida is very much, let's go back to the January that he came in. Brendan hung his reputation on the line there with Ida and said, "You're my man. You're going to come in here, prove all these people wrong. I've brought you in for a reason. You're a top striker, and you're going to help us get us over the line." And he put all his faith into Ida. And we had a player that was playing with a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
And I just wonder if all this uncertainty where Kyogo's left now, oh, well, who's going to be the number one striker? It's not a case of Ida's the number one striker now. It's still all this uncertainty of like, is he even now? Oh, Johnny Kenny's getting a bit, and it's like, well, hang on a minute here. Like, and Maeda wants to play for the middle. I think if Brendan has a conversation with Ida at the start of this season and goes, right, you're my number one striker. You're going to fucking prove to everybody why I've made you, why I've spent £9 million on you. You scored 20 goals off the bench last season. Then let's see what show. And if he gets that confidence and knowing he's the man, you're the man. I think we get the Adam Ida that we got in January. Right now, I think he has a confidence guy. I think he needs an arm around him and told, because right now, I mean, there's all that negativity about him, like getting himself in a mess on a night out, and all the shushing the Ireland fans, and there was a bit of I don't know, play with a chip on your shoulder if that's what you did. But right now, I think there's almost a bit of sulking going on, and I think maybe that's affecting his game. I think he needs to get his head in the game and go, I am the fucking man. And if we get that, I think we see this 30-goal striker, because I said it in the conference in the chat, in the live chat on Friday when he's were talking about it. He's got every attribute to be the main man at Celtic. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he can score goals. We know he can. He can score with his left, his right, he can score with his head. But right now he's just lacking that application, that attitude, that confidence that the main man at Celtic needs. It needs a bit of Chris Sutton in him, just a bit. I'm the fucking man. And if we get that, I think Adam Ida, nobody can touch him there, and Maeda can go back out on the left and, like you say, Phil, get in the box and finish these crosses that are coming in, whether it's with your head, these coming in the near post, all these different types of goals that we've seen, these big goals, the goal against Rangers in the final. That's what we need to see from him more, and there's no reason why we can't see it. But I think we have to get rid of this uncertainty of who's going to be the main man. Think about it, Phil, and I'm ranting here. All this carry on with Fitzcarton for 2 seasons. This guy's going to be the main man. Wait till this guy comes in. Celtic are wanting to play this guy. If only they knew about the secret fucking clause. Think about that over. Adam Ida might be sitting there going, hang on a minute, I saved your fucking season last season, and you're already talking about this Fitzcarton. Wait a minute, that could the type of guy he is. That's maybe just he's been a bit of a sulk. And now that Fitzcarton's not coming, he maybe needs to just kind of go, but fucking forget about this guy. He clearly didn't want to come, Phil. That boy.
Yeah, I've talked that to. I think it was Ian or your dad were talking about that one, and yeah, I'm the same as you. You and I are both in the same line. That if an agent's job is to get his player a move to make money, and you're telling me that the agent and the player did not disclose that the player had a release clause, the only team they told apparently was Norwich. I don't buy that at all. The boy
I
just
don't
didn't
buy
want to
it.
come to
What
Celtic.
nonsense?
No.
And if, fair play if right, but come on, right. So you're telling me that one of these hot prospects coming out of the Danish football, or, whatever league it is he's playing in, in the Scandinavian countries, the big name coming out of the Scandinavian leagues is this Fitzgarden, and all these clubs like Celtic and all these other clubs that are told that they're going to pay £9 million for this guy, but Norwich and another Celtic fan podcast were the only cunts that knew about it. Like, come on. I mean, you're right, Anthony Joseph. If he's absolutely right. If the only people that knew about that was Celtics here in Norwich, then that's an embarrassment for all clubs involved. But come on, like, give me a break, man. Like, he obviously he's put it this way. Mr. Fitzgarden, sir, Celtic are wanting to sign you, but your club's telling them that they've got to fork up £9 million. Well, hang on a minute, we've got that 6.9 buyout clause, we know. I didn't tell them. Well, but I want the move. Nah, we're not going to tell them. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
But,
it doesn't make any sense. An agent's job is always to make money, and they make money through getting the player moves. So to me, it was like, I don't know. So to me, I just think the boy didn't want to come. But on the topic though, Adam, we talk about him playing with a chip on his shoulder. There was a goal last season in my mind. I think we played Dundee United at Celtic Park, and he scored an absolute rasp off outside the area. And right before it, I can't remember the incident, but something had happened that had obviously made him annoyed. You could tell by his body language he was angry. It was either like a foul on him, or he missed, or whatever. It was like a chance that he missed, or the crowd were getting on top of him for something, like a bad pass or whatever, because I can remember it. And then seconds later, it was like he just unleashed one from outside the area, and it just flew right in the top corner. And it's like, that's it. That's the Adam Vida that we need right there, because he's got it in him clearly. So maybe it is a case of playing a bit of chip on his shoulder, wee bit of aggression or whatever. You sort of pointed out him being a bit, maybe sulking about all those rumours, because Ali's in here saying sulking. He's a grown man, no room for sulking at Celtic. But yeah, there was a game, I'm sure it was Dundee United, but about February time. And I can remember him scoring an absolute belter from outside the area. And it just came, as I say, just like minutes after there'd been like an instant. I'm pretty sure it was a crowd getting on top of him for something, and it'd be part of the course, to be fair. A lot of times at Celtic Park, there are moans and groans that come for the stand at misplaced passes and whatnot, but you could tell that it annoyed him, and he just got the ball and just steadied himself and just pinged it right in the top corner. And it's like, that's it. That's the Adam Vida I want to see. Goals like that, just banging it in. None of this extra passing it about. Just go for the goal, because that's another thing that always annoys me, David, is the way we've played over the last couple of years. Many times an opportunity opens up in front of them, and there's always an extra pass involved and whatnot. So a goal like that, and that type of attitude from Adam Vida, I say that's what we want to see from him. And yeah, well, hopefully we will see that this coming season.
Well, mind he scored that absolute belt. I don't think it was the same game, Phil, but so we were absolutely smashing somebody. And it was like, we're all these unbelievable goals, and then Adam just comes out with the best of the bunch. And it was like,
it was Ross County early in the season last season. We beat them like 5-0, and we were 5-0 up at half time, and he scored in that one as well. He scored a great goal in that one from outside the area as well.
Aye, that's Adam that we want, and
yeah,
we'll maybe get it. We'll maybe get it. I don't know.
To say, I've expected him fully to start come next a week on Sunday. It'll be him through the middle, I would guess. So, he's got it in him. This is it. Go and do it. Just go and do it. And again, just emphasising what I said at the top of the show, because people in the chat misconstrued what I was saying about Johnny Kenny. I was like, no, not saying he's going to play every single game. I think right now, after what he's done, is he now ahead of maybe Callum Osmond? Because Callum Osmond, I think, came in initially, and I was like, well, he's going to be the third choice guy, and Kenny will be loaned out. Maybe they are putting Kenny in the window. Maybe that is what this is all about. But the fact that they knocked back a bid from Bolton Wanderers and then talk of him signing a contract extension just tells me they might like to loan him out. And it should be another Scottish club, I think, if anything, if they are going to loan him out. But I think right now, Brendan might be looking at him going, maybe there is some use there for him. But no, firmly right now, Adam Ida is the main man. And Yamada, same as you, David, I'm excited to see what this guy can bring, just the intrigue around him, despite what the manager has obviously said. And what's your take on that? Because that's something that's came up a few times. The recent sort of snarky comments from Brendan Rodgers as I keep on saying, what other managers do you see in world football when they unveil a new signing do that? Usually they'll always talk about, oh, I'm delighted to get my man. This is what the strengths he'll bring to the team. This is what I'm looking forward to working with him. Twice now this summer, Brendan Rodgers has been like, well, take a look at him over pre-season. Not really that fussed about him. As I said on Friday night, or was it Sunday when I was on with Connor and Regan, I says, is he just taking this approach that honesty is the best policy? Because he thinks, I can't really fool the Celtic fans now. They kind of know, but come on, Brendan, a bit more enthusiasm here wouldn't go amiss.
I don't know, but Brendan's it's a weird one because, like you say, like, I mean, Inamura, when he came in, they unveiled him. They gave it, was it the number? Did he take the number 25 shirt?
25, Nakamura's
Does
former number.
Did Nakamura not have the 25 shirt?
And Moravchik back in the day as well.
Moravchik, and I think, did Ayer have it at one point? Oh,
35. Thomas Rogner had 25.
Thomas Rogner, right, other centre back. I forgot about him. Let my number knowledge down there, Phil.
Shocking.
Like, I mean, so a pretty well prominent number in Celtic history. The players that we've just rattled off. For Brendan to come out and be like, oh, he's getting nowhere near that. Fuck off. He's going on loan. You know what I mean? Like, you instantly thought, this is just, did Ange have some sort of weird agreement that we'll just sign J-League players after he's left to keep the contingency going, to keep the Asian market, players, fans buying tops and whatnot, like. But then, so then we were taken aback to see he's even in the lineup, and then he didn't. He looked good, didn't he? Like, I think we're all a bit surprised. I think even Brendan was taken back.
Yeah.
And now he's played them in every pre-season friendly since, and every pre-season friendly, I think every question, after the Cork game, but he was never tested defensively. Or he was never, we didn't see any, didn't have to deal with anything physical. I think then those questions then were starting to get answered as obviously the level of opposition was going up. I mean, he didn't look out, he doesn't look phased whatsoever, to take the ball in tight areas. I mean, I don't know how much English he can speak, but he talked Trusty through the game against Cork, and it's like, and now when Brendan's giving it all, I like to assess players in pre-season, got to give them a chance. So, mate, you'd already shipped him out on loan before he'd landed in Glasgow.
Yep.
So it's like, is his ego, because we know he's got an ego, right? And that's fine. Yeah. Is his ego getting bruised here that, that there's players that he isn't identifying or he doesn't want that are getting signed without, and he's maybe like, well, I didn't sign off on this one, so I don't really give a shit about this guy. And then they're proving I'm wrong. Well, I mean, it's still early days, obviously, but like, so far so good, we'll say. And it's like, I don't know what's going on at this club right now. Like, who's in charge? Like, who is in charge of the signings?
Yeah, well, Punch McNugget says exactly. He says we must be the only club to make club signings, as it's been called. If that's the case, sack Rodgers and give Lawwell and Nicholson the job. Because the club signings line has been quite interesting. I don't remember any previous managers, Neil Lennon, Ange Postecoglou, even Ronnie Dyler. I don't remember any of them ever coming out and saying, "Oh yes, this was a club signing," And then remember Brendan came back in 2023, and obviously he's going to say all the right things that day. And he talked about, "I'm really happy with the system here, and I sign off on everything." 2 years down the line now, he's coming out with, "This guy's going to go on loan. I'll assess him as a club signing," all these types of things. As I've said a couple of times in recent pods, David, he's the only high-ranking person at the club that's coming out and telling us anything. The people above him are just radio silent against a backdrop right now of quite a lot of anger from many fans. And it's like they're just hiding in the shadows. So Brendan's the only one that's giving us any sort of communication here. So naturally, fans are going to listen closely to everything he says because, let's be honest, we know that Brendan can be good at putting little Easter eggs out there in the things that he says, little hints. So people are naturally getting a little bit angsty about it. Like, what is going on? Club signings? Say, first manager I know of in my time that's referred to a player as a club signing.
I think it's an insurance policy for himself that if the player doesn't work out, he can say it's nothing to do with me. Because let's be honest, I think Brendan's got a bit of a reputation of, he's a good coach with the players that he inherits, but then when he starts to sign his players, there's maybe arguably a bit more misses than there are hits, and that's not just at Celtic. That's almost at any club that he's been at. Celtic both times round. Obviously, Moussa Dembele was a big hit, but I don't even think Brendan was even. I don't think he even signed off on him. I think he was coming in regardless who the manager was. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's an insurance policy that he's just a bit like, I'll distance myself from that. And then, he's actually playing quite well. Well, I like to assess players before I make a real
Always knew he
judgment.
had in him. Always believed in him.
Always like that guy. And if it went tits up, he went, well, I did tell you what to put him out on loan. That's a club signing. I never signed off on that one.
Yeah.
Schmeichel was my signing.
Oh yeah. But look at that one. Schmeichel has obviously been great for us. Cup final aside, Schmeichel's done really well. But Sinisalo came in, and we thought, he was. That's why Brendan was playing him, because Schmeichel's his guy. But Sinisalo took his chance when he played, and I don't think fans would object if Sinisalo got more game time next season. I don't think there's any worries there. But let's look at the wing-up position. Brown Warrior has said, Phil, Igara Yamada can play wide. Could that be the plan until Jota returns? Or are we looking for a quality winger to replace Goon and Palma and Tillio? Oh, Palma and Tillio, lest we forget. Off they go into pastures new. Lose Palma, those couple of months that we got out of him, and then Tillio. I mean, honestly, like, what even was that? But yeah, the winger position. I mean, do we have to bring? I suppose we should bring his name up again. The ballad of Michelle Ange Balakisha rages on. 1 minute it's happening, the next minute it's not. Then it's happening again, then it's not. I know, David, you're very much in the camp of just walk away from the table now. I said the other week, this will rumble on to the last week. I hope I'm not right. I think Celtic should walk away. If it's not happening now, just walk away, Celtic. Don't prove me right in this one. Don't drag it out to the last week in the window. Whatever reason this keeps stalling, whether it's the club or the player, if he's not done it yet, then to me, I think this is a no-go now. I think this one's dying on its arse right now.
Good. I don't. I mean, something. Did the agent not come out and say there's like he's very keen on the move to Celtic? Well, I'm sure you fucking are, but there's apparently been no approach from the club, and I hope it stays that way. He's stupidly injury prone. Listen, I don't know why I said that. Listen here, boys.
I'm listening, mate.
You listen here. I was listening to another pod, is what I was trying to say, and they were very much on the camp of like it doesn't seem like a very good idea to sign the guy, and I was totally in agreement with them. I can't help but get Dirk Berichter vibes off this guy. Coming from obviously good pedigree and all that, he's quick, he's tricky and all that, whatever. But I mean, so I've got a horrible feeling that this will rumble on. We will sign this Balakwisha, and we'll see very little of him. And it's going to be I hope I'm wrong, but like, yeah, muscle injuries. I mean, I think he only played 14 games last season.
Something like that, yeah.
14 games?
Yeah.
Is that really... Is a Celtic really sitting there swithering over spending 5-6 million on a boy that played 14 games in the Belgian league last season? There's plenty of other targets out there. If you're going to... It's the... there's a striker that we've been linked with that I'd never heard of until the other day. And I'm raging we're not signing him. Know nothing about the guy.
Of course, yeah.
Will Bolden offer 6 million, but they want 10. The guy scored I think a goal every 2 games or something last season. And someone else is more than willing to come in and match the offer that obviously he is valued at. But Celtic are willing to sit in the swither over spending half of that on a player that's not going to, that potentially won't feature at all. Now, injuries can happen to any player, obviously. Yeah. But when there's a player with that kind of track record, I mean, you wouldn't go and look at a car and look at the MOT and the services and go, well, that car breaks down quite a lot, doesn't it? I'll get you. I'm going to buy that. You know, you would
And
kind of go.
buy an inflated price as well. Just
You'd
for,
quickly go. Well, I mean, listen, I'll take the car off your hands, but I'm not going to give you what you're asking for it because I've got a feeling I'm going to be in the garage getting a full service done, new tyres and a new timing belt, and 1,000 miles. So we're going to have to talk about the price. Like, I don't want to sign this boy, and the timing belt breaks on him halfway through and that's him sitting on the bench for half the season, and we spent 5 million on him when we could have used that 5 million to pay for a player with no injury track record but a very good goal scoring track record, and sign the guy that he is what he is actually valued at. I don't know. I'm getting a horrible feeling about this guy. He's rumbled on for almost a year now, but this isn't the first time we've heard this guy's name. He's been in our thoughts for a year now that we've managed to learn how to say his name easy. Like, I can pronounce his name, Balakusha. It just rolls off the tongue. Whereas before I couldn't have done that, Phil. So that tells you how long that we've been linked with this guy. Because I have a reputation of butchering any name that doesn't sound like my own. So, aye.
yeah,
Anyway,
it's
I've got a horrible feeling about it.
it is going on a bit too long now, but as I say, I just hope I'm not proved right, and we're still sitting in the last week of the window, still waiting on this one. For me, if I'm Celtic, I'm walking away from that. But the signals and the messages that have been coming out through the media is like 1 minute it's like they've not even bidded, the next minute, oh, it's happening. It's like who's even telling the truth here? Today, the Daily Record put up another update after the one yesterday that you just quoted about his agent saying he's keen on a move, but Celtic haven't approached them yet. And there was an update today from the Daily Record's Twitter account saying this is a new one. Celtic hit the button on Balakisha deal. So we've went from monitoring, exploring. What was it? What was the one they said there a week about Nazinho? It was exploring the conditions of a deal. All these different like buzzwords and all that for the transfers. But now apparently we've hit the button, whatever that means. Hit the big red button, to make the Balagisha deal happen. Tomorrow will probably be a case again. Another story will come out from the Belgian side of things saying we've not even had any bids from Celtic. There was a quote the other week from Mark Overmars, who's like the director of football, saying that they've got some interest, some of their players, but clubs need to come forward with serious bids. So naturally, Celtic fans hear that and think, it must be us clowning around again. I just don't even know what's even happening now. Like with this guy, 1 minute is one extreme to another, David. So honestly, if I'm Celtic at this stage, if they are in, I'd be walking away from the table now, and just saying, look, it's dragged on too long. We just move on to other targets because time is of the essence.
We don't want to get into a situation where it's like we finally identify a winger of some sort of substance, say I don't know, an English championship team, and then they go, okay, it's 9 million, and we end up, Brendan really wants them.
Yeah.
So we don't want to be in that situation again. But that's Palmer what left today. Tillio's heading out the door, and Kuhn's away.
Mm-hmm.
That's 3 right wingers in one window. And when we signed that, is it Nygren or Nigrin or like
Nygren?
Nygren, that's a safe bet. We'll go with that. I had the impression that he was a winger, but then obviously he's quickly realised that he's not. He's more obviously in the 10 or in the midfield somewhere. So he's not a replacement for Kuhn. So, and Yang's apparently Norwich are interested in Yang. So there's a fourth right winger potentially leaving the club in one window. Like, and we're being linked with one. We're being linked with one right winger that only has one leg, by the sounds of it. So I mean,
Makes perfect sense.
The math doesn't add up. So either Brendan's keeping his cards close to his chest, and we're going to suddenly see like a bid come in out of nowhere, like we did the other day with that striker that we lowballed. But like we might find that there are other targets that we're working on that maybe are, I don't know. I don't want to say high profile because I just don't think those. But I just don't think those transfers are going to happen this window, Phil. I don't think there's going to be a high profile signing that we've all heard of.
Yeah,
we might sign a boy for 5-6 million, but it won't be a player that we've heard of. I don't think.
Yeah, like an Arnie
Um,
Engels type of thing, like a boy who have cost quite a bit for us, but nobody knows anything about him before we signed
well,
him.
well, go
Yeah,
and look
some
at the Portuguese league again. Like there's Jota was obviously brilliant. I think there's probably plenty of Jotas out there and playing in the
yeah.
Portuguese league somewhere. We could be looking, we could be trying to, I mean, that's Portugal seem to produce plenty of these types of wingers. Like,
Yep.
there's got to be more of them out there. Just got to, try and get, just and stop mucking about and just get these deals done. I'd be happy. I'd be happy with a loan with an option to buy at this rate.
I'm always okay with a loan option to buy, but as we saw in the last couple of years, David, even when we agree those types of deals, we'll still go back to the table a year later and say, actually, see that fee that we agreed, Benfica, can we maybe change it a wee bit? Remember the Paulo Bernardo saga this time last year as well. So it's like even when we do that, we still, have to go back and go. But I am in favour of the types of ones instead of we're just bringing somebody in to develop them for the benefit of like an English Premier League team in a year's time or whatever. So I would rather, if we've got that security of if this works out pretty well, we've got first refusal on them and this is the set price for it. So I'm okay with these types of deals. I know people would always say they'd rather, we go out and spend the money and the money's obviously there. The club keep advertising how stinking rich we are. But yeah,
Go get Ben Doak.
Ben Doak.
Why not? Why not? Why not? It's popped into my head, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but like I was talking about it with my father-in-law yesterday. Like Ben Doak, like obviously Liverpool aren't interested in keeping him. He had a good season at Middlesbrough, right winger, a player that we missed out on. And I know people were saying, "Oh, I didn't want to be at the club, so forget about it." But I mean, it was Liverpool. Let's be honest. But like, why not even just try and say to Liverpool, look, we would like to get Ben Doak on loan, maybe with an option to buy. He might be interested in coming back. That's the kind of player that I'd be interested in. Is looking at in the loan market.
Yeah.
But I see that post that you brought up there, a Brown Warrior. I'm in total agreement with Brown
With Carl
Warrior.
Vickers, yeah.
We need to get ourselves a couple more centre backs in, obviously left sided, but we do need to get ourselves a right centre back because the Carter Vickers thing's starting to concern me too. Like, obviously, arguably one of the best centre backs that we've had at Celtic.
Yeah.
Is he Champions League quality? I don't think we'll ever know. I think this is the reason.
He does miss a lot of the games. He does.
And that's the point I'm making. Obviously, a bit of tongue in cheek. Like, we want him. He is a very, 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 very good player. But I mean, there's all these questions like, is he even going to be here next season? What if a club comes in for him? I don't think clubs are going to come in for Carter Vickers. I think the Premier League boat sailed a long time ago, and these injuries that keep propping up every season, start every season. How many games has he actually played in the Champions League for us?
The second season that Ange was here with the Champions League, I'm pretty sure he missed 4 of the 6 group games that we played because Maurice Jens played.
2 of them he scored on goals. Two of them he scored on goals.
Oh, he scored their own goal last season against Club Brugge and one. Yeah, that's right. So he did. Aye.
So whatever. Brian Warrior says that's the debate. David. I'm not sure he's Champions League level. I mean, that was kind of what I'm getting at. Like we won't know because he's never bloody plays in them. But we need. It is concerning me now the amount of games he's beginning to miss and the drop off in quality of when he's not there. It's happening too often. It's happening in key parts of our season. Dane Murray's bulked up and he's got lots of praise for Brendan Rodgers, but
he's a big old unit. I've seen that on Sunday. I was like, have you seen the pictures of him at training? Jesus Christ! But Brendan's pretty much confirmed that he'll be the understudy to Carter Vickers this season. So
I mean, you better. I mean, I don't know. It's concerning. I do think we need to. And then Brendan went and spent £6 million on Trusty that didn't have a very, he lost his place to Liam Scales. But I think, I don't know. Carter Vickers, it's a weird one. I hope it's a speedy recovery and he gets back soon because, I mean, how many pre-seasons has that guy missed? Well, so,
that's right. There was a season that he I want to say it was again end Andrew's second season. We beat Rangers in the semi-final of the Scottish Cup, and right away he gets sent for a knee operation, which kept him out for the entire pre-season. He didn't come back till the second game of the season, and Brendan was now the manager, so he missed the entire pre-season. There was that one. He obviously is playing now, but he missed a little bit of this pre-season here. So seems to we get to the end of the season, things just accumulate with him, and he's got to go away and get some kind of operation on the knee or the hamstring or whatever. It does seem to be a sort of recurring theme with Carter Vickers, but he can't. That's the thing, because he's so good. He's been so imperative for us over the years. But it's like, well, we've shown that we can sign players of that quality. Surely there are other players of a similar ilk out there in the same price range that we bought him for. Well, of course, it was what you said, a loan deal initially with an option to buy. And it's like, surely we've done it before with Carter Vickers. Was that window under Ange just a total fluke? Was that the anomaly, that one window that we had under Ange in his first season, where we seemed to get a lot right? But again, we've scouted players like Carter Vickers. Surely we can find players of that ilk again, instead of every season this recurring theme of we're on panic mode because, oh no, what if Carter Vickers injured long term? He said we need to find another Carter Vickers. We need to find somebody else that can be as good as him. They're out there.
Maybe Dave Murray might be. Well, like I'm not. I'm not suggesting that he won't be any good, Dave Murray. I think we've obviously not seen enough of him, and if he's doing everything that his manager's asking of him, like, look, you bulk up. You are going to be the understudy this year, and the way it's going with Carter Vickers' injury record, you just might end up being the number one if you can prove that you're capable, and I hope he does, because we do want to make sure that the boys that are coming through the youth system, that are going out on loan, getting experience first team football. Was it Queen's Park he was at?
I think he was. Yeah, we've now got some sort of partnership as well with Ayr United, where we can loan players out back and forth. I think Jude Bonners went on loan to them.
Yeah, so if he can come back and then cement his place in the first team, then that only bodes well for more young players wanting to stay and fight for a place in the first team at Celtic. I couldn't ever imagine myself in that situation, but playing your whole career as a child up till professional football and not getting to play for your boyhood club that must surely. I know the lure of getting to go play for West Ham and Liverpool and all these other Bayern Munich and all these other big clubs that we've lost our youth team players to over the years is obviously a big pull for them. But there must be some regret there that they haven't managed to pull the jersey on more than some fleeting appearances here and there. So hopefully Dave Murray can be the next Callum McGregor, Kieran Tierney, James Forrest. A real good example of our youth system does produce good players. I just think it's difficult, obviously, to keep a hold of them. It sounds like I'm being really negative tonight, and I don't mean to be. So I hope that's not coming across.
It's all about opinion, mate. It's all about your opinion. You've been on for a long time, so
I'm just pointing out. I think it's always easier to almost highlight things that are a concern than maybe then you maybe are excited for when you can't predict the future, obviously. But overall, as like I said at the start of the show, like Yamada, I'm intrigued by that one. And this is leading me into something that we talked about today, Phil, over WhatsApp. Ian McIntosh, if you're still in, I'd really like to know. You seem to be really clued up on Yamada and stuff like that. So, are you? I'm not being a wido, by the way. Are you a keen J League watcher, or are you based out there? I don't know anything about you other than I see your name all the time, but you seem pretty clued up on him. So, and I'd like to know that, because we've talked about if it was possible, if for some viewers, if they would be up for it, almost doing not like a phone in, because it wouldn't be a phone in, but some way of getting you on the pod for 10 minutes, just give your opinion on how the season's going, or a player that you like, or whatever, and then the next viewer can come in and do it that way. So, and I'm just intrigued to know why you know so much about Yamada. So, but we're thinking about doing that, Phil, aren't we? Like that, I think that would
I
be quite fun to do.
I think it's something that can be, we vet it properly. I think we can do it as a feature we can bring in over time where we can get people to come on instead of just necessarily being in the chat and bringing their comments up. They can actually appear on screen, bring them on. And I could get to say the fabled line, "What's your point, caller?" The line that I've been dying to say that. "What's your point, caller?" Yeah, get them on and have a wee quick blether with us on screen and then bring on the next one. It's something that we can definitely look into doing. It was an idea I think we'd discussed previously on the old pod, but it was one of these things where we're like, oh, we could do that, but we just
It's
never
the
ever followed
logistics of
up
it,
on
yeah.
it. Logistics
It's
of it
just,
are hard, yeah, because
yeah.
the vetting process is the toughest part. So it would have to be people that follow you on Twitter or at actual time,
I think
getting in touch.
the invite would be obviously extended to people that we've seen their
Mm-hmm.
name prop up
Yeah.
multiple times on that are like, obviously like subscribers and that, and like whether we get a separate email account specifically for the pod, and it's like, look, you send us an email saying that you're up for doing it, and then we would invite you in. We'd have a chat before we go live, and you say, look, this is you can still watch the pod from being in the
Yeah, that's right. Aye.
studio background, the green room, and
Green
then
room.
we
Yeah.
we can add you in, have the 10-minute chat, have a blether about all things Celtic, and just have a wee chin wag, and then just say thanks for coming, and then we move on to the next one, and it could be like a monthly thing or a one-off thing. It could be, and if anyone was up for that, we could obviously you can get in touch with Phil on Twitter, I'm sure, or you can even
Aye.
just say in here.
I can put a post on the community page because I find that like Twitter's just at times mind numbing. I mean, I use my own personal Twitter account more still a lot, but like it's just like I've started up a Boys in the Bus Twitter account, but at the time it's just like Twitter's just such a mind numbing place
It's
nowadays.
shite now.
I like to try and utilize the community page on YouTube. So I always try, and if there's a show coming up here, I'll always try and post on there because at the end of the day, all the subscribers will see that. So it's like I always try and utilize that more than the Twitter page. So I could put something up there at some point saying that, what we're planning on doing. If people want to get involved, then they can contact us and get into it. So we can definitely do that over over the course of as we go into the season. We can definitely arrange that. And as they keep you for the viewers to keep their eyes on the community page. I see that's where I'll probably post majority of stuff anyway. Because see, Twitter's just it's just the drizzling shits
It's a
nowadays, man.
cesspit now, isn't it? It's just
It's so
crap.
bad. It's awful.
I don't even know what I get all these. I'm rarely on it now, but when I go on it, I've got like 9 notifications, and I'm like, oh, have I been tagged? Somebody commented on something, or somebody, you know, added me or whatever, and then it's like just a bunch of stuff that I would have seen eventually on my timeline anyway, and
Yeah.
I'm like, why is that a notification? Like, it's just shite now.
Oh, I know.
It's
It's rotten.
X.
X, I know.
What have you become?
Since Elon took over and renamed it X, it's been absolutely down the pan, that one. But
The
no, that's
drizzling shit.
the drizzling shits, mate. But no, hopefully tonight for you, David, making your return hasn't been the drizzling shits. You enjoyed yourself. Did you feel a bit therapeutic tonight, getting it off your chest, mate? I felt like you
Aye,
had a lot
I
to
missed.
say there.
Yeah, I hope I've not bored everybody. I've missed being
No,
on.
no.
Like, aye, obviously when the wee man was coming, and obviously we're getting prepared for that, so I was trying to wind down being on.
Yeah.
It was hard to commit to, because I've obviously, like, we've all got lots of stuff going on, like everybody does, and this is a hobby that's
Aye.
been obviously the Boise bus was great, that and then we've obviously split away in a completely amicable way, by the way, as
Yeah.
you
That
alluded to.
point was hammered home. Yes, that
Yeah.
was.
But I hadn't featured on the pod for months, and it was just obviously like baby on the way. I've got my new shop opening in 2 weeks today, so trying to get all that prepared, and like it was just like I can't commit to being on every Tuesday at this time every week. It was just becoming quite difficult, and and I was torn because like I love being on, and I love having the conversations with the people in the chat, and obviously with yourself and Regan and that, and reading the comments and having the banter and the back and forth with everybody. Putting yourself out there on a platform like this, but you can be obviously scrutinised. But I think we've built a very good community, if you want to call it that, where we can all have a
Aye.
bit of a laugh and that. And so I've missed being on it, and obviously since when you messaged me saying like, look, this is what's happening, we're going to be moving over to the new channel. All the boys are coming with us, and are you on board? Obviously, of course, I was. But it was just a case of like, right,
Yeah.
when can I get back on? And obviously, I'm off for 2 weeks just now on holiday, kind of. So it was a case of like, I'm free this week. Let's just tell Phil, look, I'm free. Let's get it sorted. And obviously, you were free to do tonight, so we've done that. And it's been class. And obviously, I've got the bug again. I want a couple
Good.
more, but obviously, it won't be as consistent as what it was. But like, we've got a great group of people, Terry and Connor and Regan been on last night, like it, and everybody else, my dad,
Aye.
and of course the wise man himself. And you've taken the driver's seat, mate, and you've ran with it. But if you can do that,
Yeah.
and yeah, I couldn't not be a part of it in some capacity. I'd like to host the show again at some point. I'm sure
Yeah,
I
yeah,
will.
of course that'll happen, mate. That'll all happen in good time. So we've got a wee schedule. I've already told the viewers about the start of the season, going into the new season, some of the shows, and I think realistically, once the season gets up and running, we could be looking at probably 3 shows a week live, so along the way, just depending on games that are on. Friday Feeling's a staple, and then Tic Talking could go on at any time, absolutely any time. There's no day that's attached to it, so there's plenty to look forward to on this channel going into the new season. So it's good to have you back tonight, David, as well. And yes, thank you all of everyone who's watching this. I do believe though there has been a goal in that game that's going on at the same time. I can see it in the chat right now. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, we will leave it at that, and we'll head off into the sunset. So I will be back on Friday with the wise man. I'll be doing obviously the Friday feeling. Connor might record another Carmageddon as well at some point. I'll speak to him, and we'll see if we can get that sorted. If it doesn't happen before Friday, and we'll get one up soon enough, because obviously you had one last week, and let's be honest, nothing's really changed since the one last week. So there isn't really much else to really rant about right now, on the same stuff again. So anyway, we'll see if we can get that sorted with him. And yeah, we'll just we'll head off now, folks. Hit the like button on the way out if you've only just discovered us and like what we do as well. Then remember, hit the subscribe button as well. Help us get to that 500 before the season starts. Say we're not too far off. I say we're 450 the last I checked. So realistically, it could probably be done. So aye, that's all good. And I say, David, it's been good to have you back as well. Make sure you dig out that yellow tie for when transfer window deadline night comes along. You and I will need to come along with the Sky Sports background again and get all the yellow motif going. And yeah, make sure you dig that out. We'll do transfer deadline night. Hopefully this time Celtic actually give us something to really talk about on deadline night. Michelle Ange Balakisha probably turning up at 11 o'clock at night. But yeah, we'll wait and see. I hope I'm not right on that one. Please, Celtic, don't prove me right on that, please. And yeah, we will head off now, folks. So again, thanks to David for jumping on. Thanks everybody for watching tonight. And yeah, we shall see you on the next one. Take care, guys. See ya.